Hey, great news! I'm getting ready to tackle the last challenge in this escape room. If I can solve this riddle, I'll unlock the final two pieces of the puzzle. Yay! Let's get started. Okay, the note says, complete the equation, else confinement persists. The answer must be no solution exists. If we can fill in these blanks, I'm guessing they'll correspond to two of these puzzle pieces. But what does no solution exists mean? I guess we can get started on these examples. Hopefully that helps. Equation 1 seems pretty straightforward, but something weird keeps happening when I try to solve for x. Can you try it and see if you can figure it out? Pause the video here. Okay, so when I simplify both sides and use inverse operations to try and get x by itself, the x keeps disappearing and I'm left with this equation that doesn't even make sense. Did that happen to you too? Okay, you know what? Let's just try this next example and see if we can make some sense of this. Equation 2 is 2x plus 8 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 3 plus 2. This also seems just like other equations we're used to. Pause the video and give this a try. Did the same thing happen to you again? Me too! I simplified the right side and got 2x plus 8 equals 2x plus 8. Then I tried to cancel one of these 2x terms, and poof! I end up canceling both variable terms again. At least this time I have an equation that actually makes sense. After all, 8 does in fact equal 8. Something is definitely up. Let's think about this. When I'm solving an equation, I'm really asking, what value of x makes this equation true? Well, with the first example, once I simplified, I was left with 6x minus 9 equals 6x plus 13. Are there any values for x that make this statement true? Pause the video here and test out 2 or 3 values for x to see whether any values can make this equation true. Did any values work for you? No, me neither. But I think it's starting to make some sense. No matter what value I use for x, 6 times some number minus 9 can never equal 6 times the same number plus 13. That's because when these variable terms cancel, negative 9 can never equal 13. So there is no solution to this equation. Now let's look at what's going on with this second equation. After simplifying, I have 2x plus 8 equals 2x plus 8. I can already tell, and I'm sure you can too, that since these two expressions are identical, they'll always be equal no matter what value I substitute for x. That's because when these variable terms cancel, 8 will always equal 8. Since this equation will always be true, there are infinitely many solutions. This is starting to make more sense. When I'm solving an equation and the variables disappear, but the equation I'm left with is false, there are no solutions or no values can make it true. When I'm solving an equation and the variables disappear, but I'm left with an equation that is true, then there are infinitely many solutions, or the equation will be true for all values. Let's do the next two examples. Pause the video and solve these two equations, then come back to check your work. For equation 3, I started by distributing 3 on the right, which gave me 3x minus 7 equals 3x plus 12 plus x. Next, I simplified again on the right by combining like terms 3x and x to get 4x. To cancel one of the variable terms, I subtract 3x from both sides to get -7 equals x plus 12. Subtract 12 from both sides, and I get a solution of x equals -19. I started equation 4 by multiplying both sides by 6 to cancel the denominator. That left me with 5x squared equal to 120. Next, I divided both sides by 5, and that left me with x squared equals 24. I'll then take the square root of both sides to undo the square, and since 24 isn't a perfect square, I'll go ahead and simplify this radical. 4 times 6 is 24, so that means x equals plus or minus 2 square root 6. So with example 3, we solved the equation using inverse operations, and this time we were able to find exactly one solution for x, which is like the majority of the equations we've solved in our escape room challenges so far. Then, for example 2, we found 2 solutions for x. Why did we end up with 2 solutions? Oh, right! When x is squared, we end up taking the square root, which results in one positive and one negative solution. Wow! Who knew we had all these possible outcomes when solving equations? We might have no solutions, one solution, 2 solutions, or infinitely many solutions. Let's try a few more examples. Pause the video and determine the number of solutions for each equation. Let's check our work together. Equation A is 2 times the quantity x minus 5 equal to 5x plus 20. I started by simplifying, distributing this 2 to get 2x minus 10 equals 5x plus 20. Next, I subtracted 2x from both sides, and then I subtracted 20 from both sides to get -30 equals 3x. Finally, I divided both sides by 3 and found that there is exactly one solution for x. X equals -10. Equation B is 4x plus 7 equals 2 times the quantity 2x minus 3. When I distribute 2 on the right, I'm left with 4x plus 7 equals 4x minus 6. I think I see where this is going. I subtract 4x from both sides, which cancels both variable terms, and I know that 7 can never equal -6, so equation B has no solution. Equation C is 2x squared plus 1 equals 5. To get x squared by itself, I first subtract 1 from both sides. Then, divide both sides by 2, and I'm left with x squared equals 2. When I take the square root of both sides, I find that there are 2 solutions. X equals the positive and negative square root of 2. Finally, equation D is 2 times the quantity 4x minus 1 equals 3x minus 2 plus 5x. I started by distributing 2 on the left, which gave me 8x minus 2, and I combined like terms on the right side to get 8x minus 2. I subtracted 8x from both sides, which cancels both of my variable terms, and I'm left with -2 equals -2. Since this statement is always true, there are infinitely many solutions to this equation. Pause the video here if you need to correct any errors or record any notes before moving on. I think we're ready to tackle this riddle. Pause the video and fill in the blanks so that this equation has no solution. I started by simplifying the left side so I could see what's happening to x. 2 times 5x plus 6 is 10x plus 12. Since I need this to result in no solutions, I need my variable terms to cancel, so this coefficient must also be 10. For this second blank, I can pick any number that isn't 12. Since that would result in identical expressions and infinitely many solutions. These puzzle pieces are marked 10, 11, and 12. So I guess that means 11 needs to go in the other blank space to complete this equation. And 10 and 11 are the final two pieces of our puzzle. Great job! Today, you learned how to identify equations that have 0, 1, 2, or infinitely many solutions. Make sure you finish these guided notes before you move on to the online practice. And remember, math is everywhere. Keep exploring.